Hello everyone, this is Dr. K. Jagannayaki, Professor in MBA Department, Institute of Aeronautical Engineering, Hyderabad. Today I would like to discuss with you all about cost of production. So, after going through this topic, the learner will be able to understand what is the meaning of cost and what are the different types of cost involved in any kind of business. So, first of all, let us start with cost of production. Cost of production refers to the total cost incurred by a business to produce a specific quantity of a product or offer a service. The total cost is bifurcated into two types. One is direct cost, another one is indirect cost. So, in production cost may include things such as labor, raw material, or consumable supplies. These are all comes under direct cost because they directly involved in the production process. In economics, the cost of production is defined as the expenditures incurred to obtain factors of production such as labor, land, capital that are needed in the production process of a product. Then coming to the concept of cost, the concept of cost is one of the key concept in economics. It refers to the amount of payment made to acquire any goods and services. In simplest way, if you want to say about the concept of cost, it is a financial valuation of resources, materials, risk, time, and utilities consumed to purchase goods and services. So that is known as the concept of cost. Coming to the types of concepts of cost, we have different types of cost. The first one is real cost. The concept of real cost was introduced by Alfred Marshall. Exertions of all kinds of labor that are already indirectly involved in the production process. All these efforts and sacrifices together will be called real cost of production. For example, exertion of all kinds of labor like skilled, semi skilled, unskilled labor, waiting, and sacrifices required for saving the capital. So, that type of cost is known as real cost. Then, second category is economic cost. So these costs are nothing but the total expenses incurred by a firm or producer in producing a commodity are called economic cost. And they include explicit cost, implicit cost, and normal profit. Explicit cost means actual payments made by a firm for purchasing or hiring resources are called explicit cost. So these are actual money expenses directly incurred for purchasing the resources, for example, rent to the land, wages to the labor, expenditure on raw material, interest on borrowed money, etc. So all those items comes under explicit cost. Coming to the implicit cost, these costs are imputed cost of factors of production that are owned by the producer himself, which are generally left out in the calculation of expenses of the firm. For example, rent for the use, own land, interest on his own capital, etc. So, explicit costs are recorded in the account books, but implicit costs are not recorded in the account books. Explicit costs are also called accounting costs. And normal profits means the minimum amount which is required to keep an entrepreneur in the production process is known as normal profit. Then economic cost is equal to explicit cost plus implicit cost plus normal profit together is known as economic cost. The third type is opportunity cost. The opportunity cost of anything is next best alternative cost which is foregone. Individual point of view or nation point of view, the resources are scarce. So as everyone knows that we have limited resources. So at the time to get one commodity we have to forego the another commodity. So this is called opportunity cost. What are the available alternatives? So based on that, the management or an individual person will decide. Suppose a piece of land can be used for growing wheat or rice. So if the land is used for growing rice, it is not available for growing wheat. Therefore, the opportunity cost per rice is the wheat crop foregone. So this is illustrated with the help of the following diagram. If you observe this diagram, we have two options. One is wheat or rice. So how we are going to allocate the limited or scarce resources? So based on that, we'll decide opportunity cost. Then coming to the applications of opportunity cost, the concept of opportunity cost has been widely used by modern economists in various fields. Determination of factor prices. See here, factors means we are talking about the factors of production that need to be paid a price that is at least equal to what they command for alternative uses. If the factor price is less than the factor's opportunity cost, the factor will quit and get employed in the better paying alternative. So that's how generally we used to determine the factor prices. And determination of economic rent. So the concept of opportunity cost is widely used by modern economists in the determination of economic rent. So according to them, economic rent is equal to the factor of actual earning minus its opportunity cost or transfer earnings. How many funds you are transferring and you are keeping them as reserves or surplus. And decisions regarding consumption pattern. The concept of opportunity cost suggests that with given money income, if a consumer chooses to have more of one thing, he has to have more of one thing. He has to have less of the other. So, hence, with the help of opportunity cost, he decides the consumption pattern. That is, which goods should be consumed and in what quantities. So, that should be decided with the help of opportunity cost. And decisions regarding production plan. With given resources and given technology, if a producer decides to produce greater amount of one commodity, he has to sacrifice some amount of another commodity. The next comes decisions regarding national priorities. So based on the national priorities also, one can make the decisions. For example, if a country decides that more resources must be devoted to arms, the production, then less will be available to produce civilian goods. So in this situation, a choice will have to made between the arms production and civilian goods. The concept of opportunity cost helps in making such choices. The next category, private cost and social cost. So private cost means the cost of production borne by the private sector enterprise. The private sector enterprise, while maximizing its profits, takes into account private cost only. However, the productive activity of any private sector firm can generate either a positive or a negative impact on the society as a whole. For example, if a private firm may produce a hazardous chemical product and in the process of production may pour the industrial waste directly into the river water without proper treatment. Any additional increment in the production of such goods in the private sector would create a marginal external damage to the society. So, if we add the value of marginal external damage to the private marginal cost of the producing that commodity, we get the marginal social cost of situation. Social cost will be lower than the private cost. So, in order to maximize the social welfare, the social marginal cost has to be equated to the marginal revenue. So, in other words, this equality of marginal revenue and social marginal cost also ensures the most efficient allocation of resources. The next type is short run and long run cost. So, cost of short run and the long run is an economic term that describes the cost involved in the production of goods in a firm in the short as well as long period. The short run is a certain future period of production where the firm's one input of production is fixed while others are variable. So the short run does not specify the extent of time, but rather it is unique to the firm, industry, or economic variable. It depends on the type of business based on that. Even the production function may also vary from one type of organization to other type of organization. It may vary from industry to industry. So during the short run period, the firm faces both fixed and variable cost, whereas the same it differs in the long run. The long run is a hypothetical perception where all markets are in equilibrium and quantity and price are fully adjusted. So during the long run period, all the factors of production and cost involved in the production are variable. So during this period, a firm can adjust its cost. So long run total cost refers to the minimum cost of production. It is the least cost of producing a given level of output. So it can be less than or equal to the short run average cost at different levels of output, but never greater. Then let us look at the cost curves. In a short period of firm has a fixed scale of plant, one short run average cost curve is corresponding to a particular scale of plant. So in short period the firm can operate on a particular scale of plant. But whereas in the long run, a firm can choose among possible sizes of plant or it can move from one scale of plant to another scale of plant. So this can be shown in the diagram. So based on the level of output and we can see the changes in terms of average cost. As a result, we'll have multiple curves. So in the above diagram, there are various short run average cost curves which correspond various sizes of plant. The long run average cost curve will be tangent to each of the short run average cost curves. It shows the least possible average cost producing a quantity of the output when scale of plant varied. So definitely we can find changes in terms of short run average cost and long run average cost based on the output levels. Other cost of curves in short period. If you consider average cost, means that the average total cost per unit of the output. So when the total cost is divided with the number of units of output, average cost can be obtained. So if you see the average total cost curve is always U-shaped. So the formula is average cost is equal to total cost divided by quantity. Or we can also derive average cost by taking into consideration average fixed cost plus average variable cost. Then average fixed cost means it is the average total fixed cost per unit of output when total fixed cost divided with number of units of output. So average fixed cost can be obtained by the formula average fixed cost is equal to total fixed cost divided by quantity. So the AFC curve slopes down from the left to right and it is rectangular hyperbola. Rectangular hyperbola. Then coming to average variable cost, it is the average total variable cost per unit of output when the total variable costs are divided with number of units of output. Average variable cost can be obtained. The average variable cost curve will be in U shape. If you observe this, it is in U shape. So average variable cost is derived by the formula total variable cost divided by quantity. The next average uh, fixed cost we know, and average variable cost, and next one is marginal cost. So it is the additional cost to produce the additional unit of a thing or one more unit of a thing. The change in the total cost is also called marginal cost. So marginal cost can be derived with the help of this formula. Marginal cost is equal to percentage change in total cost divided by percentage change in quantity, which can be represented in units. So even if you observe, marginal cost curve is also U-shaped. Then let us have a glance modeling the detail. So more often than not, the large investment businesses need to make are not straightforward, but in fact need to be supported by complex modeling to understand the medium to long term financial impact on all three financial statements. Purpose built solutions provide the tools to model complex depreciation curves on the fly without manual number crunching. So, here we are talking about accurate capex forecasting. It involves a systematic approach that incorporates multiple assumptions and considerations. So, some of the key best practices to enhance capex forecasting or historical analysis. So, here analyze historical data to identify patterns, trends, and seasonality. Review past projects to understand their success, cost overruns, and reasons for deviations. So, this analysis provides valuable insights into accuracy of previous forecasts, and it also helps to refine the future projections. Then second one is collaborative input. Engage all relevant stakeholders such as the department heads, project managers, and finance professionals in the forecasting process. Seek their input on upcoming initiatives, their expected timelines, and associated cost, but also crucially understand how the impacts of capex initiatives can impact the wider business as a whole. For example, how will a financial digital transformation project allow not only a reduction in overall OPEX but impact downstream financials such as an improvement in age data or a reduction in accounts receivables cost? Then, market research and benchmarking. So, it should be done by exploring market trends, technological advancement, regulatory changes, and competitors' activities. So, a thorough set of benchmarking data provides the business with the information they need to make accurate and realistic forecast. So, if you want to forecast the future and how much cost incurs in the business, that should be done with the help of this kind of market research by setting some kind of standards. So, for example, the impact of new technology investment can have a significant impact depending on the level of similar investment across an industry. So, is investment competitive enough to keep market share growth against competitors who may also be investing in the area? So, here what we are saying that we try to maintain equilibrium between the technology and appropriate tools, which significantly enhance the accuracy and efficacy of capex forecasting and also scenario modeling. Thank you.
Like, share, and subscribe. Hit the bell icon for more updates.